Hey, it's Tuesday morning. It's 8 a.m. and that means it's trash talk. We're going to have some fun today, but before we do, thank you to all of our loyal listeners who chimed in after last week's very serious subject of gun control and all.
Yes.
I was absolutely blown away. There were some people that disagreed with us. That's your right.
That's cool.
There were a lot more people that just said, you know what, you guys, thank you very much for just airing it out. It needed to be out there. It needs for people need to hear about it and talk about it and react to it. And also we thank you very, very much. Pass that show along to your friends and tell them to like it and share it. And everything. I think it's important. The more we know about it and talk about it, the better we can find a solution.
100% agree. Yeah, 100% agree. That was a good show to do. It was a fortunate topic. I wish we didn't have to.
Right.
But it was a great show. So, it's important. Here we are.
And we thank you very much. So we decided we ain't going to get serious this week.
I can't do it.
And each one of us have had a little bit of an encounter over the last few weeks with some animals, and we thought, okay, we got to kind of talk about that. We live, as we've said many times, in northern Texas, and summertime is a time when the coyotes and the bobcats are usually out. They're foraging for food, and sometimes it's the overpopulated rabbit population that gets hit.
Always.
Sometimes it's those little lap dogs that go out the doggy door to do their business, and unfortunately they don't come back through the doggy door.
No, they don't.
But what really prompted this, and I laugh every time, is when Brandon brought up the point about every spring when the bluebonnets come out here in Texas. They only come out and they're only here for probably less than a month.
So weird.
But these fields of bluebonnets, and everybody gets the kids all dressed up and they run out into the fields of the blue.
Which you're not supposed to do anyway, because they're protected
by
there's literally signs up that say, be careful, don't pick. It's illegal. It's illegal. Right. You can't pick them. You can't step on them. You can't do anything.
But because there's a sign that says you can't, that's why people want to do it.
Oh my God.
So, and grandma up in Seattle and the relatives that are over in Florida and everywhere else in the country, they want to see the pictures of all the little grandkids sitting in the bluebonnets, and mom and dad are sitting there taking pictures. But Brandon brought up a very, very important issue, that there's something else that likes to lurk among the bluebonnets.
Oh yes. So it ain't pretty.
They ain't fans of mine.
Well, I don't want to hang out with these guys, these particular ones either. Look, think about it. Think about this for a second. Okay, you got those fields. You're driving down the street. There's no construction. The grass, the trees is overgrown. Nobody's walking through there. That's a pretty safe area for creatures to drop their eggs and play and all that. The bluebonnets are very similar. They're protected. So they're not getting, there's no construction. You can't build on the bluebonnets. It doesn't matter. And you don't really have people walking through those fields or areas on a regular basis. And they grow and they are pretty. It's really random to see patches of them driving down the road. And they do come out for like a week or two and then they're gone. It's the strangest thing I've ever seen. Well, guess what else hangs out in there? And it's proven time and time again. Good old rattlesnakes. Good old rattlesnakes. So, and copperheads, but rattlesnakes in particular, they go in there. Why do they go in there? Well, it's safe. They can hunt. They can lay their eggs. They can make their babies in there. And that's what they do. And we sit here, not we, because I'm not an idiot, but we sit there and I watch it all the time.
The jury's still out on that.
Well, yeah, I'm an idiot in a lot of things, but I'm not putting my kid in. Hey, let me get a picture of you by a flower I'm not supposed to be in. And forget getting stung, forget getting bit by a bug, forget all. You could be literally sitting them next to eggs, rattlesnakes trying to make some babies, brand new baby rattlesnakes, and you wouldn't even know it. You wouldn't even know it. And it's so dangerous, and it happens. And they put out a warning all the time. But what do I see? Especially up here, there's a road by us, 423. I drive down it, and they're walking it because it's always around like Easter time, and they're getting their dresses, and my baby's all in his suit. And let me take my picture of my stupid kid on flowers, sitting on flowers, because you're smushing them as you're tramping your big fat feet around like Bigfoot. And you got snakes just sitting there like, bro, you just put your baby's butt on my egg. I'm going to bite you. You're risking your child's life. They put warnings out all over social media, all over TV. I'm everywhere. And you have some stupid parents doing it. And you could kill your baby. Even my son will look at him.
There are even signs around some of those areas that say beware of snakes. Beware
snakes. And the kid's like, oh, whatever. I need this picture for Facebook.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get one picture.
I hate them. I get so mad. I beep at him when I drive by. I'm like, you're an idiot. And my son's in the back seat going, Dad, why are they? Because I told him, because I've taken him to look at the flowers from the road. Like there's a cemetery. Old cemetery by one of these blue bonnet places, and you can pull in, and that's where all these idiots go, and you can actually look, but you can see the flowers from a distance. We've taken them there before. Hey, look at these flowers. You can't walk in there because you don't want to hurt the flowers, and there could be snakes. He's 4.5. He'll look out the window and go, hey, what are these guys doing over there? And he's 4.5 yelling at them, and they're putting their precious little 10-month-old fat baby. Oh, I can't deal with it. If you're one of those people out there and you watch our show, shame on you. Don't watch our show anymore.
Not only that, but beyond the snakes, just stop and think about the bugs and the bees, because they love the blue bonnets.
Yes, of course they do. Because
we're talking at risk.
I can't do it, Stuart. It makes me mad every year. Every year.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then we also just complain about, oh, let's go out and have a picnic, but not at the park where there is already an established area for a picnic with a picnic table and a trash can. Let's go out into the woods someplace and have a picnic. And then, I don't know about the rest of the country, but we got red ants here in Texas. And if you have ever been bitten by just one red ant, you're going to be itching for days and weeks, So,
and you can't spray them off with water because they stick in you.
Right.
So you literally have to take your hand and go like this,
and they're thirsty and they like water too.
Oh, they're evil, and they're everywhere. And I say 7 times out of 10, you can see a mound. But if you're out in a place that most people don't go and it's not trimmed up and you sit, there's grass grown over those mounds. Yeah. So you sit on the mound and bam, your butt, your face, and they don't stop. They are relentless little creatures.
And here, those ant mounds are actually taller than the grass.
Oh man, I feel like I'm in Africa with those termite mounds sometimes.
I mean, you see them. And if you don't take care, they'll be there for a while. But they got some stuff that you can just go around, shake it around there. They eat it up. They take it back down the mound, and the mound's gone within a week or so.
And it's always after, for those of you that are new to Texas, it's always after a rainy day because the soil's loose and they build up their mounds. I mean, they come out during the rain. They collect water.
It's like an iceberg. What you see above the ground is only part of the story.
Yeah, you just sprinkle the stuff on there, and literally within 24 hours, that mound is hard dirt because it's killed them all. There's also some natural things you can do, but we've talked about that before, where you can actually, if you have 2 mounds, if you don't like chemicals, and you want to take a little shovel and dig from the one mound and put it in the other mound, they kill each other.
Oh, really?
They literally go down and fight the queen and kill it, and they'll die. They'll both die.
You can make a movie out of that.
Yeah, I'm not risking it. I'm going to chemical the heck. I'll light it on fire if I have to. I don't even care.
Yeah, go out.
But it is interesting, though. It's interesting that you can do that. So.
Yeah. But I mean, we talk about encounters. There are encounters with animals beyond the zoo.
Well, yeah. Hey, you remember not too long ago we had that coyote that was attacking joggers.
Yeah.
It was the Frisco. It was funny because somebody created a Twitter account for the Frisco Coyote, by the way. And it was attacking. Yeah, it was hilarious. I still follow it, but nobody says anything. But the Frisco Coyote, it was like a week where it was literally, and they had that video footage of the police officer pulling up to go chase the coyote. And the coyote was running out and attacking joggers. And they couldn't figure out why, because typically coyotes don't. Like if they're by themselves, they're pretty skittish. They'll run away.
Right.
They don't like to be seen. If they're in packs, they might be a little more brave, but they're not. That's usually not what they are. And they were thinking, well, is it rabid? But they didn't think so because everybody tested, everybody that got bit didn't have rabies. And then they thought, is it protected? And I think they ended up killing it. All I know is we don't have a coyote problem in that particular area anymore.
Right. Or they just moved to another area.
Yeah. I see them all the time. I hear them all the time too. I'll be out on if I go for a run, like early in the morning, and it's dark, I'll see them. They'll run across my path, because they hunt at night. And a lot of times they just chill out during the day.
Yeah.
When I used to work overnights and I would go out in my car and take a break at like 3:30 in the morning, they would run across, boom, just back and forth.
Well,
I had a coyote.
We forget that this is their home. This was their home before we started that developments, and we started building on it. And everybody wants to build a little development or something around a creek. Well, that was their breeding. That was their homeland. That's their breeding place. And we're forcing them out of their home. So they're looking for water. They're looking for protection.
I agree with you. And there's a food source. So you've got, because that creek or that little stream or whatever, every other type of animal goes there.
Sure.
So they can build their little den. They've got water. They got food. Why would they?
Nests
why would they
in
want
the
to leave?
trees. The squirrels are there. The
rabbits
are there.
and all that. We had a coyote. I had a coyote encounter. It was really weird. It was in Frisco Square,
Really?
on Coleman Boulevard. Yeah, I used to live there. I used to live above the stores there. And I was taking my dog.
It's a very, very residential area, folks. It's
even more so now,
Yeah.
even more so than when I was there. There's like 6 more apartment complexes. I was taking my dog, a little Shih Tzu mix, shitty dog, and he was awesome. But I was taking him for a walk at night. I worked at the bars, so I'd get out and go for a walk. And I didn't have him on a leash. I'll be honest with you, I didn't. I don't know what's going on over there. Oh, okay. I heard something. I'm like, that moose is trying to get me. What the hell? Anyway, so
Wally Moose.
I got scared. I'm talking about coyotes. I'm like, what is going on? But I didn't have him on a leash. I'm walking him down Coleman Boulevard at night. Nobody's there. It's like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. All of a sudden, he starts barking. And I'm like, dude, will you chill out? Like, shut up, And I look and I see a couple dogs, what I think are dogs, walking. And I'm like, wait a minute. Those aren't dogs. And if you guys aren't familiar with this area, there's a whole open field where kids can play soccer and trees, and then it crosses to the library. So there is a giant patch of grass.
Right.
And just on the other side of the tollway at the time was an empty field. And I look, I'm like, oh, those are coyotes. Well, the coyotes stopped. And I'm like, there's like 3 of them. And I'm like, what's going on here? So I pick up my dog and he's barking, bowing up. And I'm like,
oh, yeah.
What are you going to do? And by the way, I'm holding you now.
The macho move.
Right. And they looked and they were slowly walking down Coleman Boulevard. They turned and I'm like, yeah, I'm out of here. Went back in the apartment complex and then they ran that way. And I'm like, dude, did they think that dog was by himself and they were going to eat that dog? I have never seen it before. It was crazy.
Yeah. And then when you left, they went back to looking through the garbage cans and everything to try and find something.
I could not,
because there's restaurants around there, folks.
Oh yeah, all kinds of food.
That's what they're looking for.
It was crazy. Yeah.
have a very, very good pizzeria there, and sometimes they have a couple of leftovers that end up, and the coyotes like that.
Well, and they also have at that pizzeria, they grow all their herbs and spices outside. So
Yeah.
I don't know if coyotes eat that, but I'm assuming they might.
Yeah. I mean, coyotes sometimes can be a little bit skittish when they're around humans. I think
Yes.
bobcats sometimes don't care. If you're coming toward them, they'll go for you. They don't.
Have you ever had a bobcat encounter in your neighborhood?
Yeah, because of the creek.
Because
That's where they like, but they generally run out, grab their prey, and take it back to the cover of the bushes and everything that are around the creeks. And every
Bobcats
once in a while,
are no joke, man.
when I'm out walking in the morning, sometimes you'll see a squirrel carcass or a rabbit or something, and it's usually more the bobcats. But the thing with the bobcats, they jump, they jump up on these fences and all to get into these yards to get these small critters. And you gotta watch out for that stuff.
I remember when we lived in a house, I was taking the trash out, and it was late, not late, but later morning. And I took the trash out, and I see all these people in the alleyway, and they're just standing around. I'm like, that's weird. Normally, I'll see one or two, but this is like everybody, and they're all looking, and I'm like, what's going on, guys? And they're like, oh, just watching this bobcat. And I turned the corner, and the bobcat was just walking down the middle of the alleyway, like checking things out. And I'm like,
that's right. Yeah.
What is happening around here?
Yeah. As soon as you leave, I'm going back later. I
just went.
I'm just here to scope the place out for the family.
Right. Yeah. He's sitting there checking out which one's got dogs and stuff. And you know what? You got to worry about that. Cause like you said, they jump up, grab it, and they'll leave, and you'll never know what happened to that animal.
Yeah. And then we have these, and I don't know what breed of bird it is. They're like buzzards and all the
turkey vultures. They're turkey vultures.
Are they turkey vultures?
Yes.
That we got around here?
We have, and they're huge.
Oh, they sit on top of your roof, and they see that there's something down there in the alleyway, and they're waiting until the car passes or until you walk by, and they just dive bomb down on this stuff, to pick it up, which is, I guess, is that's part of ecology. But man, those things they're the size of B-52s.
They're huge. Yeah, they're turkey vultures. You usually get like 2 or 3 of them hanging out together. Turkey. And if you look at them closely, if you ever want to, they are the ugliest things in the world. And they look like vultures, but they got like a turkey neck.
Yeah.
And you got to be careful with your animals too, though, because if you've got a small enough dog, they'll pick it up and take it.
Pick it up, take it along with them.
Yeah. That's crazy. Have you ever had any encounters where you were a little worried, like maybe you went camping or hiking or anything like that?
Well, yeah, I mean, where I grew up, there was probably about 2 blocks away, there was a wooded area. And that's where we always used to go to play cops and robbers and, cowboys and Indians and stuff like that. That was when I had my first encounter with a snake. I was walking through a path in a wooded area and everything, and I stepped down and something slithered across my foot, and I have not been the same since. I mean, I don't care. I don't care.
It was probably nothing either,
it was probably, just a black snake or something, that was probably more afraid of me than I was of it.
Absolutely.
But to this day, you can have 4-inch thick glass between me and that reptile, and I'm turning around. I'm going the other way.
Yeah. I remember doing a lot of that, but I used to hunt snakes in Michigan. We collect them. I know, it's weird. Ugh. And I remember one day we had about 10 different, all either a water snake and not water moccasin, just water snakes. They're really thin. And then we would get a lot of gardener snakes, which do bite. They don't hurt. And gardener snakes' biggest offense is they secrete this smell. Oh God. And it's on your hands and sticky, and holy crap, man.
No thanks. And spiders. walking around in the woods, and all of a sudden, you
get it in your nose, and you're like, they're laying eggs inside my body right now. Yeah, I'm not a fan of spiders. I'm better than I was, but I'm not into them, man. I'm not. And the thing is, most of the spiders that look like they're scary and terrifying aren't poisonous or even going to bite you. It's always those little SOBs that are like, oh, that's just a little guy that could kill you in like 2 seconds,
Yeah.
That
bites you on the ankle, and all of a sudden your ankle is the size of a tree trunk.
Right, and you're dragging it to the hospital.
Right.
I killed a baby rattlesnake with a machete. That was cool.
What movie had you watched before that?
Well, so we were sitting outside at the house. We're having a patio night, so we're drinking some wine or what have you. And at the time, we had 2 cats. And this particular cat, she was a girl cat. She wanted to be outside. Like, she was an outside cat. My cat is like, no, I'm good. Like, I got my life here. I might come out on the patio, but I'm good. She would dart out the door, just dart. Okay. And finally, I just was like, I'm done fighting her. Let's let her hang out with us. And she would come out and just sit. She just wanted to be out there. And it was weird. Well, I saw her pouncing around in the grass, and I'm like, what is this idiot doing? And she would jump, and I look, and I'm like, and we had the lights on the patio, but it's still pretty dark out. And I look and I see something moving. I'm like, oh my God, that's a snake. And so I grab her, and I hear this little, and I'm like, oh shoot. I throw her inside. I jump back, and I see it just sitting there. It's a baby, which is even more deadly than an adult, because they can't control their venom. So they'll give it all to you. So I tell my wife at the time, hey, chill. I run back in the garage, and the first thing I thought about was, I'm going to grab a machete and I'm just going to kill it, And I grab my machete, and I go out there, and I just hack it up in pieces. I mean, I'm talking like sushi rattlesnake pieces, boom, 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 and kill it. And it's dead. And the next day I come out, and it's just picked apart. Some animal got it. You could see the little spine. But that was by far the scariest thing I've ever thought about. Because I'm like, number one, I don't want a rattlesnake getting comfortable in my backyard.
Right. Because if there's one, there's probably more than one.
And number two, what if I was mowing the grass, or I went out, and I don't know if my son was born at the time or not. I don't remember. But what if I just put the dog out there, or I walked out in my bare feet, or something stupid like that? Like, oh my God. That's all I got, though. That's my Indiana Jones story.
Did you get it on film?
No way. No. I was too intoxicated to even think about that, probably.
All right. Well, you go deal with your moose. I'll deal with my bear. And that's Uncle Buck back there, who thinks he's a smart ass and he can put his head inside the bear. But
yeah, you didn't show him the after picture, right?
No. That's the X version.
Right. We can't do that. We'll get banned.
All right. We'll catch up with you again next week, 8:00 on Tuesday morning for another edition of Trash Talk. Go on, make it a good one.
See you guys.
I love that moose.